I was really surprised when I compared the final version, the retail version with patch 1002 with the demo version from back then in terms of HDR settings, in terms of HDR peak brightness, because there is a difference and I was not expecting this, because usually a demo version is very similar with the end product. And in terms of HDR, I never seen actually a change was made after the demo version. I never seen this before. Therefore, I was really surprised, but that's actually a good thing, because I actually think they improved HDR slightly. But don't get me wrong, HDR in this game, HDR in the demo version was already on a very high level. Now it's even better. Is there any difference, or are there actually any differences in terms of HDR black level rays, or maybe now the game supports the HDR system level calibration? No, not at all. Still no support from the system level calibration on the console, at least not on the PlayStation 5, and very sure the same counts for the Xbox. And in terms of HDR black level rays, there's nothing, okay? HDR implementation in this game is just very good. The only difference what I found is in terms of settings, in terms of the maximum peak brightness. And we're talking about this menu here, the first page and the second page. And let me say just one thing to this calibration picture here. If you would follow the instruction here, you would do it most likely wrong. So even you have a TV with a proper HGiG support like the CX here, and you would follow the instruction, which I can do, and I know my camera already is clipping this, but this is when I can't see the second window here anymore. This is when I can see barely, and this is actually how we should do it. But I can tell you something, right now I would have a very low maximum peak brightness, because what I found in this game is when I measured or when I analyzed the standard settings, then this is right now around 880 candela or nits. That means this is actually really good for the LG ZX or similar TVs. When I follow this right now, I would have probably around 400-500 candela. That means my specular highlights are not really specular. But this was already an issue with the demo version as well, and as far as I can remember, in many other Resident Evil games. So don't follow this. Follow my recommendation, okay? Or follow what you think looks good, okay? Because at the end, you must like it, okay? Anyway, so what I found is here. This is the standard setting, 880 nits. Compared to the demo version, I had around 1350, I think, if I remember correctly. That's actually a big difference, because now this setting here is actually really good for the LG ZX or similar TVs. For my G2, on the other hand, it's slightly too less. And a very good thing what I found, and I confirmed this already in the demo version, that the brightness setting here, where you can set the average picture brightness, I would call it like this, has no impact at all in the maximum peak brightness of specular highlights. This is perfect, because that means you can just set this up as you like it. If you like it very bright, then just go ahead, because it will not affect the maximum peak brightness in this game, and this is exactly what we want. Okay, so let's talk about my new recommended settings for the PlayStation 5, and just keep this in mind, I just have the PlayStation 5 final version right now here. I'm planning maybe to buy the PC version to have the best graphic actually. But I can't verify PC and I can't verify Xbox at the moment. The fact that they changed actually something with settings in terms of HDR, maybe they did the same on the Xbox. Maybe they did something similar to the PC version, but I have to say the PC version in the demo version back then was already, we had already different settings, and now the PlayStation 5 version is actually very similar to the settings on the PC back then on the demo version. It's still not the same, but similar, okay? Closer, let's say like this. So that's my right now, my recommendation just for the PlayStation 5. With a little bit, maybe on the Xbox, but most likely not for the PC. But again, I can't verify this. Anyway, let's have a closer look on my recommended settings, on my new recommended settings for the console version. PlayStation 5 confirmed, most likely the same for the Xbox. And you see here the old values for the PC version as well. So keep in mind, again, I can't verify Xbox and PC, but those are my new settings for the PlayStation 5. That's confirmed. And again, keep in mind, or don't forget that you can change the brightness slider in the game as you like it, because there is no difference in terms of the maximum peak brightness. Okay, so let's talk about HGiG, dynamic tone mapping off and dynamic tone mapping on. So forget about dynamic tone mapping off. You will have just a very bad experience in terms of specular highlights, because they will just look very, very dull, okay? So my recommendation actually, if you have a TV like the LG CX or G2 or maybe the G3, oh my God, I'm looking forward for this TV. Anyway, try HGiG, try it with my recommended settings, because I don't have any problems to play this game. Maybe the picture looks a little bit dark for you at the moment, but that's because of my camera settings, because everything is very, very bright here in this room, and you should play a game like this, or in general, you should actually enjoy HDR content in a very, very, very dark room, okay? So difference, of course, between dynamic tone mapping on and HGiG, as always, is the average picture brightness. Dynamic tone mapping on gives you a much higher average picture brightness than HGiG, but also keep in mind that when you have bright objects on the screen like this here, can you see there's no difference anymore, because it is already very, very bright, and dynamic tone mapping on can't brighten up the screen at all. There's no way anymore. So I don't like dynamic tone mapping on at all, because it will just over brighten the picture in this game way too much, in my opinion. And this game actually lives from the great contrast, and with dynamic tone mapping on, you actually destroy this sometimes. You know, when you have a very dark location like this here, can you see actually how it goes much, much brighter? And again, don't compare this with this video right now. I'm hearing this so many times, or I'm reading this so many times, that people complaining, oh, black level crush on whatever when I'm watching your videos. Yeah, that's because of the recording. It is not possible that I can record and capture the whole picture, okay? Either I'm focusing on specular highlights or on brighter parts, or I'm focusing with the camera on darker parts, but then everything else is dull, okay? Or it doesn't look quite right anymore. So that's very, very hard to do, okay? I would need a much, much better camera, and even then it's not the same as what I can see with my eyes, okay? I do like HGiG in this game. It is not at all too dark, and yeah, I can just recommend to give it a try. And just quickly, let's talk about Dolby Vision on the Xbox Series X. There is no native support for Dolby Vision on the Xbox Series X. I'm quite sure. Okay, no doubt about that. That means you can play it in Dolby Vision, and you will most likely see a little bit of a difference, yes, compared to HGiG or HDR10, but it will be most likely the same as HDR10 with HGiG enabled. So let's just do this. I love it. So don't expect any difference, okay? When you play on the Xbox Series X, give it a try, play with Dolby Vision, why not? There's no downside. Absolutely not. You maybe have advantages, because maybe it's using, or you have a little bit of different or better specular highlights. Sometimes that's what I experience, because Dolby Vision is handling specular highlights, oh my God, specular highlights differently than HDR10 or with HGiG, but again, don't expect too much of a difference, shit. Okay, anyway, I think that's it for this video. I don't have to say anything else. Shit, now I'm done. Anyway, okay, thank you very much for watching me. I need now to play this game, because believe me or not, I haven't played further than the demo version, or than this part, even with the retail version, because I was busy with making meal for my kids, movie night with my daughter, and now I'm doing this video, and I analyzed, of course, the HDR settings and whatever. So I literally had no time to play this game. Literally no time. I played it back then on the GameCube, but this is a long time ago, a long time ago, and I'm actually looking forward to continue playing this, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm getting the PC version to have better visuals, because yeah, still we have the same issue in the demo version on the PlayStation 5 with the shimmering. Anyway, different story, different video. Okay, thank you very much for watching me. I see you guys next time. Bye.